Hi, Kendall from D1 Baseball joins us every week on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team at Mississippi Farm Bureau. Most importantly, you going to Hoover this year for the SEC tournament?
I will be there. Last year I did not go because Joe Healy and Mark Etheridge were both going. But I told them this year, I said, I don't care if they're both going. I'm going to head over there. I'm actually, for you guys, for, USM fans, I'm actually going to be at the Sun Belt tournament as well. So look forward to seeing the Golden Eagles down there at some point over the weekend.
Yeah, that will be a lot of fun. So Montgomery and Hoover, you're going to do the 1-2 punch.
Yeah, apparently. Well, I haven't clocked it with the way I drive, but apparently it's about an hour and about 10 minutes going 75. So I feel like I can probably hit a game and then hit a nightcap in Hoover. We're going to put that to the test next week.
That'll be a good way to do it. So this Southern Miss team is all of a sudden on fire, winners of 7 in a row. I feel like they're at that point, Kendall, where there's no question they are an NCAA tournament team.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm having trouble, and we talked about this for a while yesterday, finding the route to them playing themselves back into a host. Is that fair?
Yeah, they're not gonna host. But I think the most important thing by far is the fact that it was a team about a week and a half ago that you could have looked at and said, hey, there's a pathway for them to miss the postseason. I don't think there is a pathway for them to miss the postseason. So I think Southern Miss is really dangerous. I think when you look at Mazza and you look at, Billy Oldham, you look at Slade Wilkes and some of the pieces they have offensively, I would not want to play them in a regional. I think they're a team that, frankly, if I'm being honest, I think they've underachieved all year. I think they're way better than what the metrics would say. So, they're locked into the postseason at this point, and now it's all gas, no brakes from here for the Golden Eagles.
This is such a crapshoot, right? When I say, hey, where would they end up? And I know you'll have projections coming out later, but
yeah,
is this a year where they end up in a spot like Starkville if Mississippi State is hosting, or does the committee maybe send them somewhere that's a little less regular?
Yeah, Starkville would obviously make a ton of sense, right? Mississippi State at this stage probably is not, an 11 or 12 seed. They're not a top 12 seed. So naturally, you would think they would get a tougher 2, or they could get a tougher 3, but they could probably get a tougher 2 in Southern Miss at this point. Southern Miss at Tallahassee would make a lot of sense. And that'd be another one where I think Southern Miss would have a good shot. Southern Miss, if Southern Miss went to Starkville or Southern Miss went to Tallahassee, would I be surprised if they won either of those regionals? Not at all.
Yeah. Southern Miss playing Ole Miss tonight, and you want to talk about a team with no margin for error. That's the Rebels. And yet, Kendall, here we are going into the final weekend of the regular season, and we're still talking about Ole Miss because there's still a path because of what they've done the last couple of weekends, winning a road series at Auburn. I know the Sunday game got away. That's a huge scarlet letter, but then a really impressive weekend to take 2 from A&M.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I bet Mike Bianco and I had the same exact look on our face as we were watching a couple of those games of that series. It's like, where the heck has this clutch pitching been all season long? Riley Maddox, it looks like he's going to struggle early on against A&M. He gets in the groove, puts together a really nice start. Liam Doyle, he's got electric stuff, right? But, consistency has been his issue. He was really good. You look at Connor Spencer out of the bullpen. Mason Nichols threw really well. They didn't lose because of him. He threw pretty well. And then Wes Mendez coming out of the bullpen with really nasty stuff. So if I'm Mike Bianco, I'm like, man, where the heck has this been all year, especially against that lineup? The good thing is against that lineup, the pitching stepped up, performed at a high level. You had guys making big plays for Ole Miss. Ethan Groff with the big play out in center. They were getting big hit after big hit. And so now if you're Ole Miss, you're not going to Baton Rouge going, oh, man, we're not playing well, our season's on the line. You're going to Baton Rouge thinking, you know what, we just beat 8 2 out of 3. We're ready for this challenge. And so the mindset of this team has to be just astronomically different than it was even a week ago.
Yeah. Is it as simple for Ole Miss as win 2 in Baton Rouge and you're in the tournament?
I think if they win 2 in Baton Rouge and get to 13 wins, I think they're in. Because I don't think Florida's getting in. The problem Florida has is if Florida loses the Georgia series, let's say they lose 2 out of 3, they've got to go 3-2 in Hoover to make the tournament.
Which means you got to hang around for a while.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. I mean, I'll put it on the record. They're not going 3-2 in Hoover.
Looking at the series that are coming up this weekend, there's important stuff all over the place, right? Okay, so let's start locally. Mississippi State hosting Missouri. What do the Bulldogs have to do to feel very comfortable about being a host? Is it win 2 this weekend, or do they need a sweep?
Yeah, win 2 this weekend, get to 17 wins in the conference. And what's the record right now? I don't have the standings in front of me. So if they sweat, they'd be at 18 wins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 18 wins are a lock. 17 wins, I still feel really good about the Bulldogs. If you look at their metrics across the board, they're pretty good. I think as long as they win that series, they're hosting and going to the SEC tournament. Now, if they bowed out of there really quick and some other teams that are in the mix, went on a run, maybe that changes. But I feel very, very good about Mississippi State at this juncture. So basically, it's just for State, it's basically let's not give the committee a reason to leave us out. Losing a series in Missouri would be a reason for the committee to leave them out. And frankly, if they lost a series in Missouri, they're probably going to need to win some games in Hoover to basically try to tell the committee, hey, wash away our sin, so to speak, in that Missouri series. This is really who we are.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't anticipate that being the case when it's all said and done.
No,
you talked about Florida. So the Gators are 11-16. Never mind winning record and all of that good stuff. Are they good enough to win 2 against Georgia this weekend?
Well, I'll never say never in baseball, especially not in the Southeastern Conference. And, Florida has enough talent to where they could win that series. But I tell you what, I think with A&M kind of, looking a little sluggish the last couple of weeks, Kentucky, they won the series at Florida, but, I mean, their bullpen was a little bit of a mess. I'm not so sure Georgia is not the best, other than Tennessee, is not the best team in college baseball right now in terms of just the way they're playing. I think it would take a Herculean effort for Florida to win that series, but it is a rivalry series, and it's not like Florida's void of talent.
Yeah. Man, Arkansas and A&M this weekend in College Station. How about this? You got a 19-win team in Arkansas in league play, an A&M team that's won 17 in league play. I got to believe that environment is going to be just incredible this weekend.
I think it's going to be awesome, and I'll tell you this. People may not like that I'm saying this, but I don't really care who wins the SEC West, frankly. Those two teams are locked in the top 8. And honestly, the biggest series of the weekend for me is Mississippi or Ole Miss and LSU. To me, that is the series of the weekend. When you look at what's at stake, what's on the line, that is the series of the weekend. But there's no doubt Arkansas and A&M is going to be a great atmosphere. A&M's offense has not really looked sharp the last couple of weekends. Give Ole Miss and LSU credit. I don't want to discount their pitching, but they've been chasing a lot of pitches over the last couple of weeks. And I just have a weird feeling that as bad as they've played offensively the last couple of weeks, that they're going to be ready for Hagen-Smith. That's my upset pick of the week. I think Hagen-Smith loses his first game of the year this week.
All right, so you mentioned Ole Miss and LSU. Obviously advantage to LSU in terms of pitching with Holman going in game 1. But after that, Is there any advantage throughout the rest of the weekend? How does this one play out? I'm hanging on the LSU, Juju, Alec Box, but that just hasn't been this team.
No, they haven't. And honestly, if I'm being frank with you, I actually would like Ole Miss to start Doyle in the opener. And I know they won't be able to do this because it's a short week. But I would actually love a Doyle, Maddox, Nichols rotation because Maddox I feel like is the most uncertain just from a sheer stuff standpoint. And you would like him to go against Holman because you got to figure LSU's probably going to win with Holman. The biggest thing for me when I look at Ole Miss is, it all hinges on Riley Maddox. Can he throw the way he did last week again this weekend? If he can, they've got a legitimate chance to win that series. And the other thing is, If he gives you a 6, can Mendez come out of the bullpen and have that kind of electric stuff? And Spencer had some success contained over the weekend. Can he do that? I actually really like their matchup with Nichols in the finale. They got to find a way to win one of those first 2 games.
Yeah, no doubt about that. 6 SEC hosts, 3 national seeds. Is that what you're thinking?
That sounds about right. And then you got a hodgepodge at the bottom, man. You got a chance of a total just disaster and carnage with Vandy needing to get to 13 wins, Florida, Ole Miss, LSU. It's going to be a wild weekend. It's going to be a wild ride in Hoover, too. There's going to be a lot at stake for a lot of those teams on Tuesday in Hoover.
No doubt. Kendall, thanks. We'll see you.